Reseller Clickbait Podcast, episode 40.
What's going on, everyone? Jimmy Old School Flips with Ken SSKPromo. I wanted to real quick just remind everybody what we do here. This is a podcast, and it's about everything, but mainly about reselling. We're resellers. So I just want to remind everybody, does the thumbnail always fit what we're doing? No, sometimes it's just for fun, but we're going to talk reselling and then talk about our lives and talk about things that are going on in the world.
Yeah, and thanks for showing up on time, Jimmy. You're normally you're late. Well, when we first started the show, we would kind of have like a pre-show meeting, and right. I kind of took it to the extreme. Most of the time was like, I had spreadsheets and pie charts and flow chart, and all my notes were like,
you would call other people to the meetings, and I'm like, why are they here?
Yeah, they don't have anything to do. Why does your mother need to be at this meeting, Ken? Well, she might fix lunch afterwards. We don't know. But, I had all my notes, and then we decided for a while we're just going to wing it and see how that goes. And then we decided here recently, hey, we should have, a little bit of a pre-show meeting.
When he says we decided, I told him, listen, we're having meetings.
Yes. So Jimmy sets up the schedule. Yep. Okay, Thursday evenings, 9:30, we're going to meet for our pre-show. And we usually would record on Sunday, but this weekend is Super Bowl Sunday. So we're recording on a Friday afternoon here, which is a new experience. But, every Thursday for the last couple weeks, 9:30 comes. I'm all eager. I'm excited. I'm in the chat room that we have for it. And then
it's called the conference room.
Yes, the conference room. That makes it sound a little more official that way.
Yeah.
And 9:30, boom, I'm there on the dot. 9:35, 9:40. Then I'm texting Jimmy, hey, I'm hanging out in the conference room. Oh, crap. I forgot. Give me 30 minutes. Yeah. And so
me and Sonia just started watching a new show because I totally forgot about the meetings that I planned.
So, hey, thanks for showing up on time for
I'm actually
recording.
late today, too. So it's
a little bit, but
25 minutes late. That's not my fault, though. That's Sonia's fault. She's supposed to be here at 12, and she wasn't.
Sonia getting the grief on that.
But she's going to be late for the dog's vet appointment. So, she just walked out the door, and they're supposed to be
little
right
one,
now.
Bean.
Yeah, for both of them, actually, they're both getting shots today.
So that's going to be a fun evening. Well, maybe they'll be a little lethargic this evening, and you'll get a chance to just
some NyQuil for the dogs. It's the middle of the day right now, so I don't feel like I'm not as funny during the day. So this might not be a very funny show.
So far, you've been hilarious.
Oh well, thanks.
I mean, I'm cracking up. I'm gonna have to have my spleen checked. I don't know. Is that what happens?
I don't know. I hope not.
When you laugh,
not while we're recording, at least.
So anyway,
what's going on, man? So what's with the black hat? Is there something going on? I
had to wear. Okay.
Because that's not the hat you normally wear.
No, I usually wear my gray hat, but I ran out of paper towels and now I can't reach my other hat. So I've got this one on.
I'm just glad you didn't say toilet paper, and then I would be really worried. I'm still worried about your other hat, but if you would have said toilet paper, I'd be really worried about your other hat. I'm confused still, though.
Here's what happened. I had bought this will kind of end up being a little bit reseller related. I had bought this rack like that you hang over the door that has like little hooks on it, and I put it on the cupboard door over top of my dryer, like in the utility room. And I been hanging my hats on there. Well, when I come in the door, I take off my hat. Like I'm over at the refrigerator right now. And it's like, so I started doing this little game of throwing my hat over and seeing if I could land it on one of those hooks. Well, I ran out of paper towel, and I keep the paper towel on top of that cupboard up there. So when I came in the other day, I overshot the hooks in the door, and now my hat is way up on the back of the cabinet, and I can't get to it because like the dryers, I have to get like a stool or something, even though I'm a tall guy.
So you're not as accurate with your hat as you are, say, a Nerf football then.
Exactly. Luckily we're not having the hat ringer competition. So I'll get a stool out and I'll reach up there. So today, that was actually earlier when I took my packages and stuff. Then I came in the house, I threw my hat.
I can just see
So
you
now
walking
I have to go to the store. I got to get paper towels. I have to get my hat down.
while you're up there. You'll replace the paper towels.
Then I'll go get some new paper towels. And but anyway, how that's reseller related is I actually bought the rack, the little over the door thing, at my new honey hole that I go to, my little secret private thrift that everybody knows about, but I kind of pretend like I'm the only one that goes there. And
we talked. I know we talked about it.
Yes.
How often do you go there?
You every couple of weeks or so. You were actually there when you were here in Ohio. We went to my honey hole. We actually went there several times and couldn't decide if we wanted pancakes on the way there.
Oh, that's the one, huh? That little one. I just sold a Zippo lighter. So funny story. Those Zippo lighters that I bought in Ohio, they got lost, and we ended up finding them. Sonia found. I have to ask her where she found them. She ended up finding them, so I was finally able to list them. And I paid like $3 a piece for these Zippo lighters, and I just sold it for $35.
Sweet.
Yeah, it just went out the door yesterday.
I ran out of paper towels, and we got a cool thrifting story.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Over. See you guys next week.
Hey, it's almost my anniversary. Hey, it's almost your anniversary too. We had talked.
Yeah.
Well,
did you get me anything?
Recording? I did not.
Me either. So we're good.
I did not. Yeah. Well, it's not our anniversary. Like we're not like a steady couple or anything like that. But my reselling anniversary today is Friday the 10th, and tomorrow, the 11th of February, is when I started my reselling career. And I think you were in February as well.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that
in February.
Full time in February.
Yeah.
So I had asked in a chat the other day what people considered to be your anniversary reseller. Is it the first day you listed something, or the first day that you actually sold something?
Right.
And the consensus was that it was the first day that you listed something, actually started your eBay career.
I definitely agree with that. And I kind of have a reason why I agree with that, because I used to do a live show called Score with a guy named Jeff.
Score. Yes.
And Jeff talked about reselling forever, but it took him forever to finally, I guess, build the nerve, or to list something. And he was it's turned out great. He's doing really good, but man, there's a lot of people that talk about it for a while before they actually list something.
Yes.
It's kind of a weird little wall or block that stops people too.
I did that. Well, kind of for a little bit. Ken's
been talking about starting since the 70s. So it took him a minute to get started.
Since before there was eBay, I was, you know what? I should do something with my life. I could be something. So, I thought we would chat today a little bit, maybe give some folks that are new to the channel or don't know us a little bit of history on where we came from. And you want to go first? How you want to do that?
I want to ask you a question.
Okay, go.
Because it's something that I've never asked you.
Yes. All this time, and I've never asked you. Okay.
Not like, I know why you resell, because of, you needed the money and things happen, but what made you decide to become a reseller? Like how did you find out about it? How did you learn about it? What made you decide that this was what you're going to do to make money?
Well, I guess I'll back up a little bit about what I did before. I had worked for a company, kind of my chosen career. I had worked for a company for 32 years.
Right.
I was with them, and was a pretty big deal, if I do say so myself. We had, I was the manager of the operation over like 4 locations. It was a one-man
show, but he was a big deal.
Yeah, there was only like 3 of us that worked there, and I just bossed them around all day. Now I had several employees in 4 different locations, under me, And due to some ownership changes in the business, the situation just wasn't going to work out for me.
Yeah.
So I decided to leave, and I had no plan. I've always been kind of real stingy and miserly with my money. So yeah, believe it or not.
I don't believe
And
it for a
so
second.
I had weighed all those options, and I had a decent savings and stuff in that I was able to just decide to leave. And so I did that, and that was in August of 2019. And I decided, I had worked all of these years. I'm not doing anything new. I'm not going to do anything at all until the first of the year in January 2020, which I did. And then I started thinking, I should probably figure out something to do with my life. And I had I've always been interested in reselling. I've always been a wheeler dealer, yard sale, kind of guy. But I had a couple of friends, shout out to Doug and shout out to John, about that they were resellers and had been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, you should try that. And so in January, I started I Googled one day how to sell on eBay. And, lots of videos came. The first one I ever watched was a Rally Roots video. He had a how to sell on eBay.
Yep.
And then I just started to find all of these reselling videos, all different people, Harry Tornado was one I watched back when he was first starting out, and just this whole community. And so I learned. I spent the first month or so learning how to resell, what to do. And of course, the advice is always find stuff around your house. And list
and that's
that.
the way to do it for sure.
Don't go out and start sourcing. However, I did, because right around the corner I have Salvation Army and Goodwill, and watching what other people were buying. And so February the 11th of 2020, I listed my first items on eBay. And it took until, this is why I asked the question, when your career starts, it took until February the 23rd for me to actually sell my first item. And so that was a long wait, but you got that first cha-ching, and then you're hooked. And then you start filing out. And of course it was right when I started and I made that sale, and then in March everything shut down for the pandemic stuff. So that kind of made it a little difficult for doing sourcing.
Yep.
But I had family and friends.
Sorcering skills. Yeah, that's
my sorcerer. Yes.
I do find it interesting that the being a big deal and the kind of the power trip that you had, you still have people working under you in Commonwealth Flipper, Commonwealth Hudson,
Commonwealth. This is my new crew
that he bosses around. Notice Old Scream Flips is back there. He looks pretty terrified right now.
He's a bit, cantankerous. He's a bit of a curmudgeon, if you will.
I don't know what any of those words mean, but that's great. I agree.
And so now these are my my work now. My crew and my co-workers, and they just hang out there, and they're really not helpful, and they're not real good employees, but who wants to get into that whole thing of having to let someone go, But so that's been so since
your fleet, Frank. We're
gonna wait. Here's Fleet Frank. Oh, let's see what Fleet Frank has to say about this.
He doesn't.
He's full of.
He pled his case. I think you should keep him.
I think I will. He's going to get a 5-star review. He might even get a raise this year. Cost of living going up.
Oh my gosh.
But so that's kind of my history.
I had friends to blame for this thing.
I do. And they were very helpful to me. They were, especially my buddy Doug. He was the guy that I would call and say, a buyer contacted me and they sent me their phone number and they want me to text them. And this guy and it's like, no. Just, and Doug was the one that taught me when I would get all worked up.
Just block them.
Yeah, that's two pieces of advice from Doug is block them. Just block him. He doesn't like that. Somebody says, "Hey, is this shirt a size large?" Block. He don't want to deal with the customers at all. But he also taught me that he would always say, "Hey, it's just eBay. It's just, don't get all worked up about this stuff." When you're first starting out, it's like those sales, especially when you didn't have. I had no means of income, so I have been full time since day one. I was never a part-time or dabbled in it. I started and it was going to be my main source of income and I had to make it work.
Yeah.
And, Doug would calm me down and say, it's just eBay, dude. Just do this. You go with the flow until you kind of get that income or the revenue built up where you're not having to live that paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Or payment. And of course, back then it was a little different with eBay didn't manage the payments back then.
PayPal, right?
And it was through PayPal and you would get those, which is kind of more of a instant money sort of a thing.
Yeah.
You would get that monies right then. But I really like the eBay. Once eBay started doing managed payments, I love that. I like having kind of like that weekly payout. I do mine weekly.
I do the same thing.
Makes it like a job and you have that amount of money. So after you got past that initial thing of, oh, I have no money coming in and somebody's going to return something. What happens if they're going to return this? I'm not going to have the money for that. And so, but it's been great. I've happy. This is my 3rd year anniversary. Then I guess we'll say as a full-time eBay reseller, I will, unless, everything completely falls apart, I'll never go back to the regular workforce. So many people say, "Oh, I got, a regular job." This is a job. It is a grind every day with, you watch all the videos of everybody and it seems like, all you do is you just go to the thrift store and you buy this, $2 item and you sell it for $50. How easy is that? And it's not. It is a day-to-day grind. It's why I talk to the guys back here on the crew because
well, and then people ask for all this trend. Oh, well, show us everything. And you don't want to sit there and watch me list for an hour and a half every day.
Yes.
Like it's what I do every day. Nobody.
Yes.
People ask want to see. I don't want to make a video of me sitting on my couch with my phone listing for an hour and a half every single day. And that's basically, that's just the listing part of it. That's not taking the pictures. That's not cleaning and testing. That's just the listing that I do every single day, Monday through Friday. Hour and a half at least of listing.
Hey, maybe you should set up like all those cameras, like those voyeur cams. You could have like a voyeur house where people can pay a subscription to just watch Jimmy every day and what he does. Yeah, people don't want to see what I'm doing when I'm not in this room.
I want full transparency of what it's like. I mean, you'll find out soon enough that it's not just shopping. It's not just shopping.
That's not
the fun part of it.
Yes, and that's what people show. And people show the big sales. People don't, show the little plush I sold for $5.94 or something today.
If you want to see what happens when you sell something big and you're not ready to ship it, go watch Yaakov Ben's Jake, watch one of his lives and watch him pack and ship something. And you'll get an idea of when you sell a bigger item, what you're going to have to do to ship this thing. So there's that stuff that we do. I mean, I
love me some Jake.
Yeah, for sure. It's pure entertainment watching them. He just did one the other day.
He could take when he was packing the blow mold. Were you watching when he was packing that big blow mold?
Yep.
Yeah, it was just it's entertainment just to watch him. But that it is reality. It's not 5 seconds of put something together. It's like you've got to build a box out of something, and
it's not all fun. It's not all shopping.
So you said that your kind of anniversary, you had went full time. Yeah. What's your history, Jimmy?
I went full time in February. I don't know to the exact day, but it was
Okay.
definitely it was in February of 2019.
We'll say it was the 11th. We'll say it
Yeah,
was the 11th, and
say it
that
was
way
the
we'll
11th.
kind of be twinsies.
Yeah, that'll be fun for the kids. Full time in 2018. No, 2019. 2019.
Full time in February of 2019.
Yeah, that's right. 2019, February. I started part time in July of 2018.
Okay.
And I was full time by February of 2019.
So that's a pretty good turnaround, because you see a lot of people that they take a few years. There's a lot of people that
I wanted to go full time so bad.
It was just so much, you as a part-time, of course I didn't experience that, but you see these part-time folks that it's a full-time job when you get home from your full-time job.
Yeah.
If you're trying to build, if you're not just like a hobby seller, or, somebody that's making a few extra bucks to pay some bills, if you're really going full-time,
yep,
it's a grind.
The hardest part about being part-time is sourcing.
Yes.
To find the time to source. The other stuff, you can, it seems easier to find time to be home and sit on your couch and list. It's sourcing and finding good stuff while sourcing. If you go out on a sourcing,
you're going to source while you're sourcing.
No, is that what I said?
Sourcing and finding good stuff while you're sourcing, or something.
Yeah, it's finding time to source and then finding good stuff while you're out there, because we all know there's bad trips. There's trips when you find nothing.
Yes.
So if you're part-time and you go out and you have that trip out where you don't find anything to list, it's
yes,
you don't have anything to list and you got to go to work the next day. So
yeah, and then if you're working, at a 9 to 5, regular daytime hours, you're not at that thrift when they're open up. You're not at the garage sale on a Thursday or a Friday morning. And it makes it tough, and you're not going to find all that good stuff that everybody shows in their videos when they're at the yard sale, a half an hour before the sale starts to open.
Because for me, it was a huge risk. When I went full-time, it was a huge risk. I had a disagreement with a boss at work. That's how I ended up full-time.
Okay.
It wasn't anything planned. I had been working towards it, but I didn't plan it. I got in an argument with my boss at work, and the next day I was full-time. Type thing. But I will say it was a huge risk, but because I went all in, and I had saved. Part of it was because I was working and I was part-time. I saved every single dime I made on eBay in an account towards capital to go full-time. I wasn't.
Yes.
I was spending my personal money to buy stuff for eBay to sell, and then the money I made from that stuff that sold, I would put into an account and I saved it up. So I had some capital. It wasn't a ton, but I had some. And
what is enough? And you hit it hard.
Yeah, when I went full time, I was like, I stayed busy every day. My death pile was gone within 2 days, and then I was out sourcing and listing, and it ended up being a great decision.
Now, why did you start part time in the first place? I mean, you were at a job, and then you started selling on eBay part time, not really thinking that would be a full time. Why was it that you went? What? Okay.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah,
I kind of have a cheat. It's not fair how I got to be an eBay seller.
Okay. Not fair.
I'll try to tell this quickly. So I was working for a company in customer service after I had to retire as my original career. I won't tell you what it was.
Yes. Okay.
So
I'm going to guess. Wait. Okay. Let me guess. What, Jimmy? I'm going to guess. I'm not sure what they do out there in the Denver area. You were a pickle packer. You're a pickle packer at a
no
at a cucumber processing plant. Do they grow a lot of cucumbers in?
I have no idea. There's they grow a lot of peaches and corn.
So okay, if you weren't a pickle packer, what did you do?
I was a mechanic, kind of.
Okay,
it's a tough one because I say I was a mechanic, and I was a mechanic, but people, when you hear mechanic, you think I worked on cars. I didn't work on cars.
Yeah.
I did work on big trucks, like the semi trucks, a little bit.
Okay.
But the main thing I worked on was, they called them reefers. I'm in Colorado, so it makes sense, right?
Okay. They weren't legal back then, though.
They were not. It's a
Okay.
refrigerator. So on the
Okay.
for those of you that buy food, which I think that's all of us,
Hey, I buy food.
when there's a big giant trailer that food comes in that has a refrigerator on it.
Okay.
And that refrigerator is a diesel engine powered refrigerator. So it is just like a car without the wheels, basically.
So you were a
But it actually
diesel
does
fitter.
have wheels, so never mind.
I got a big long joke about a diesel fitter position, but we don't have time for that. Sometime I'll tell you the diesel fitter joke, Jimmy.
You'll have to tell me that for sure.
You will laugh and laugh.
So that's what I worked on, is the refrigerators that cooled that. And I worked on the rest of the trailer too, the brakes, the doors. And then
you started selling food on eBay. I started
stealing the food from the back of the trailer.
Stealing the food from well, they had to do something, because obviously if you were working on it, the freezer part was broken. And so they needed to have some place for that food.
Hey,
so
Jimmy sold. You want to see a company urgent when they have hundreds of thousands of dollars of food in the back of the trailer and the refrigerator ain't working.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of urgency there.
Call Jimmy.
Yeah.
You got a refrigerator truck problem.
So anyways, that's what I did.
Go. Yes.
Then I had my medical problems. I had to retire from that, basically. And I had to find a job. So I went into customer service.
Okay.
Answering the phone for mechanical questions for a different
company. Same company?
No, different company now.
All right.
They sold like log splitters and lawn equipment.
Okay.
But people would call in with mechanical questions for their equipment, and I would help them troubleshoot it.
Okay.
So I did that, and I was doing that, and I hated it. Hated every second of it. So I went to quit that job. I walked in the office to quit. I'm going to try to tell this fast. I quit.
Okay.
And he said, hold on, before you quit, I got an idea. Our e-commerce guy just walked out on us this week.
Okay.
You want to try to run our eBay and Amazon sales?
Okay.
And this was a smaller company, so they were like panic mode, right? So I was like, I'll give it a try, whatever. Long story short, I sold on eBay for that company for over a year. I did really well.
Okay.
I did like over $1 million in sales my first full year with them.
Oh, really?
I was
so a little less than you made your first year as a real reseller.
On my own.
Okay.
Exactly. And I had a team, so I had people that pulled orders for me and they shipped, but I still managed it all. Like I made sure everything got done, all the customer service, all the shipping, everything that we do, I did for that company. I just had help for the boxing and shipping and all that stuff. So
when you say that you kind of cheated when you first started, you were already doing listing and learning the ins and outs of eBay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I went to start selling on eBay, I already knew how to do everything on eBay. Like I knew the inside and out of how to run an eBay, and I knew how to do the extreme side of it with, literally 50 questions a day with mechanic, because we were selling crap.
Yeah.
The company I worked for sold crap and things were breaking left and right. And so I literally all day was dealing with the bad side of eBay.
Yeah.
So that company sent me to the eBay Open in 2018 to learn more about eBay.
Okay.
They didn't know what the eBay Open was. They just sent me there. Hey, go learn more about eBay. Well, while I was at the eBay Open, I met nothing but resellers.
Okay.
And all I did was, and they didn't want to talk to me. It was almost like they'd be like, well, what do you sell? And I'd be like, well, I work for a company and I do their listing. And they'd just be like, oh. And they would walk away. They were like, they didn't want to talk to me.
Do you remember any resellers that you met there?
I met a married couple there.
Okay.
And they're the ones that I finally said.
And they invited you back to the hotel. And no,
they did actually. No, but I sat, because they had the big hall and we were sitting at a table. I started talking to them and I hung out with them and learned a lot from them and talked to them for a while. Yeah.
And they had
hotel, it was awkward still talking about it. But
Jimmy's like, don't you hate when people want to return something because
do you polybag clothes?
Yeah, should I ship this hat in a poly bag or a box?
So they're the ones that taught me about reselling, though. I didn't know what reselling
Okay.
was. I literally didn't know that it was a. I can say I didn't know it was a thing. Like, you had friends that did it, you knew it was a thing.
Yeah.
We were literally, Sonia and I were literally those people that sold our kids Nintendo DSs at yard sales for cheap.
Yeah.
And their old video games and their old toys. We were those people because we didn't know it existed.
If you could have all that
If I
back,
could go back, man, my kids'
knowing
video
now.
games.
Yes.
So I learned about reselling from this couple. They explained it to me. I hung out with them for a while, and they taught me a lot about reselling. I came home from the eBay Open the next day. The day after I landed, I had an eBay store open, and they had
Really?
told me the same thing you just said. They said, get some from your house and go through your house and sell stuff just to learn it. Well, I already knew eBay, so I was like, but I'll list some stuff from my house. Well, I was a former mechanic. What do I have a bunch of in my garage that I can't use anymore because of my medical? I can't use my tools anymore.
Okay.
Let's list some tools. Let's see.
There's some tools.
First,
so was that the first thing you sold?
Yeah, it was the first thing I sold. Was a Snap-on cordless impact with 2 batteries. And unlike you, because that was something very desirable, I don't know what you were trying to sell. You can't sell your old underwear, Ken.
Well, you can, but that's a different part of eBay.
eBay
was a little more lenient back then. Yeah.
So I listed the Snap-on impact, and it sold pretty fast. It sold within a couple days. I remember that, I got well over $200 for it. I remember being nervous, like you said. I went and bought a box at Walmart.
Hold on. Wait. You listed it, and you sold it when? The next day?
Within a couple days of listing it.
See, that would have been great, and have that $200 sale. Because my first sale was a pair of Nike
old underwear,
Trout. Yes, Nike underwear. Trout. They had that. They
Nike
were
Trout. What Nike? Like the baseball player Trout?
Baseball. Yeah, Nike Trout cleats, baseball cleats. And I had bought them at the Salvation Army for like $1 for the pair, and they sold for
popular.
$17.99.
Oh, that's terrible.
And that was, well, it is, yeah, but it was in what 11 what is the 11th to the 23rd? How many days is that? 12 days before I made my first sale. And of course, I had been listing stuff from around my house, but it was like, I got that cha-ching, and it's like, yes, I'm a reseller.
I didn't sell most of them. That was the only tool I listed right away, and it sold fast.
Okay.
Now then it became like you said, and that's something that you have to understand as a new seller, especially for me, because I had just created my eBay account. I didn't have an eBay account before that.
Yeah,
so
no feedback score.
My year was 2018. I had no feedback. It took, so when you're there, you get a lot of scams attempted at you.
Yes.
Sales are definitely few and far between. The best thing to do when you're there is to list. Everybody will tell you that list. And that's the best. Get yourself to 200 plus listings as fast as you can.
That's good advice, even if you are established. List. And,
But I remember selling stuff around the house. And this is just like one of those things, like, how did I sell that? I had an old, like, knowing what I know now, it was a Connect 4 game. And it was in a broken box. Like, it was just a regular old Connect 4 game.
Yeah.
In the box, and the box was all damaged, and I still sold that on eBay. Something I would never try to sell now. But it sold. I think I got like $9 plus shipping for it.
Somebody bought it. And see, it's amazing what people will buy. I've always been amazed at that. You find something that's broken, and broken laptop, the screen's shattered. Yep. Oh, it sold $50. Boom.
Yeah, I've sold a lot. I mean, people ask that question. Well, do you ever have an issue selling broken stuff? I've had a couple, but nothing major. Like, I just sold a bunch of PlayStation 3 controllers. A couple of them didn't work. I just put untested, and I always, you always got to just word it in all caps, like, for parts or repair only. And then make sure, again, in the description, these should be considered for parts or repair only. They should not be considered working in any way.
Yes.
They are not, and
And then a few days later, after it sells, you get that return request. This is broken.
Yeah,
Why doesn't it work? Well, only because it was in the description, the title, it had pictures, it was all caps and bold and had little arrows that pointed at it. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff drives me nuts. But
there's only
that's
so much you can do, because if the person
You-
on the other end decides to be dishonest in any way, you're gonna lose the case. I mean, we all know
Yeah.
that. I don't. That's
and you had touched on that a little bit last week when we were talking with Troy, Mountain Man Treasures on the show.
Yeah.
Was a good word of advice too, if you are just starting out, is never try to get one over on the buyers. If you are
Don't be like
up
Ken and
front
super glue
and
your chin while trying to get over on somebody. Don't do it. What were
I'm
you
gonna
super
glue this
gluing?
part back.
He's like, I was trying to super glue the axles back on an RC car,
so that I can sell it as new open box.
New.
No, I did glue my neck to my chest though, in a similar scenario. But never try to get over on a buyer. If you are fair with your pictures, your description, your title, then at least you have some sort of a case with eBay. It depends on how they try to do the return. But it never, if there's a mark on it, if there's a stain, if there's a crack, if there's whatever,
there's a lot of things that, like, if you're testing a cassette player and the cassette, you can tell that the belt on it is loose and the cassette doesn't turn fast enough, don't say tested and works.
Yes.
Like, say belt needs to be replaced. Like,
yes.
Be 100%. Don't just say, oh, tested and works, because you think they'll just replace. Like, or don't try to hot glue a figurine together, like, and then sell it. Like, and if you do that, disclose it 100%.
Or knock the head off of a figurine when you are getting it ready for shipping, and then glue it back on, and hope maybe they won't notice. I did a good job of this gluing, and I'll be happy to report they didn't notice.
They didn't. So you can get over on the customers, is what Ken is trying to teach you.
Every now and then it was one, but man, that glue job, that wasn't the time that I stuck my neck to my chest. But I knocked the head off off one of the three wise men, Jimmy. Just boom. There it was, laying there. It's like
now,
yeah.
There's been cases where it's not the most honest thing. I don't care though. I'm gonna get ripped for it.
Okay.
I've been packing a shirt.
Yes.
And noticed a really small hole in the armpit that I didn't notice when I listed it.
Yeah.
You know what? And I never heard back from the person, but if I'm being honest, that just got shipped like playing stupid.
Yeah.
And
yes.
If they complain, I'll take care of them. If they're not happy, if they want to return it, I'll take care of them. Knowing that, I ship it and see what happens. Now,
especially when you're
extreme, but things like that have happened. I've had.
Oh yeah, they get by you.
I sold a lot of toys where I couldn't find one of the toys I was supposed to be in it. Like stuff like that happens every once in a while, and I'm not trying to get over on them. And I know it sounds awful, but like, I'm not going to cancel the order either. I'm going to ship it, and I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah, if it was something really extreme, you can reach out to the customer and say, hey, I noticed I can't find this part.
I knocked the head off of a wise man. Do you still
and do you still want me to ship it? And so that's what that stuff happens. And if I have found over time, that's one thing too with YouTube and with all of the chat groups, the Facebook track, what am I trying to say? The Facebook chat groups or the Facebook groups.
Man, I try to avoid
Facebook
those.
groups. Like, remember when like the Trash to Cash Facebook group used to be fun, Jimmy? And it was like posting pictures of Kevin with, his head on a bodybuilder or something. And, now it's, I'm not saying not to go to the Trash to Cash or any, because it's all of them across the board. It all just seems to be complaints.
Yes.
Now, people complaining. When we were talking about the returns and stuff, it's like, just just offer free shipping. This is my advice. This is the way I do. Just offer the returns.
Yeah.
Just whether it's free returns or whether it's buyer pays for the return, just save yourself some trouble. Offer returns. That's probably going to get some comments. That's
Yep,
probably
for
going to get
sure.
people who are going to say,
Doing more
"Oh,
to
you
it.
should never do that." But I don't know how many times when you read somebody's comment about, I said right in there, buyer does not accept returns. And now I have an INAD against my account. Now eBay is doing this. Just as part of business, you get returns. We had talked a little bit earlier about, when you're just starting out, you don't want those returns. And if you, decided to do this as a full-time thing right away, those returns can really hurt you when you've already spent the money on gas and, gas for your vehicle and electric. And
I'm going to use the rabbit hole term. Is that the correct term? I used it before.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I can't tell you.
My advice to those people, and it's what I do.
Yes.
It's again, because I, from experience, and you don't have
write
to
this
do
down.
it, but it's what I do.
Yes.
Don't go to social media. Don't go to YouTube. Don't go everywhere and complain about it. Like, or not even, a lot of it is complaining, but also vent. Don't go there. If you have a dog, tell your dog the story. Vent to Commonwealth Hudson. Like,
that's right.
My wife, when I'm upset about, or Ken, I'll message Ken.
Yes.
Talk to your close friends that know what you do and you've talked to them about eBay before, or even make a friend that does reselling and talk to them about it. But don't take to
I need
Facebook
to try that
group with 7,000 members, and it's just a waste.
Yeah,
of time.
it's the venting, and it's the venting. Some people that are new, they have a legitimate question. Hey, I got this return. It says this.
Yeah.
What can I do? What recourse that I have? That's a whole lot different than just
tell
the
message that's just their way of getting why they're right and eBay is wrong across.
Yeah.
And we get it. We've all been there. We all know we're right and eBay is wrong on a lot of those, but there's nothing we or you can do. But you still got to take to Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or wherever and I just got to let everybody know my case and why I'm right and why eBay is wrong. And it's just really not worth it. It really isn't.
You're going to get a lot of hate comments, Jimmy.
Huh?
Right here. You're going to get a lot of hate comments.
I know, but it's true.
It is true. And I think there's probably a lot of people.
Anything that you can do about it, or are you returning that item on an INET?
Yes.
Yes. A lot of answer.
A lot. Well, I love it. A lot of those groups that are on the Facebook group, they're good, they're fun, they're helpful, but they are getting to be just a place to rant and just a place to complain.
Man,
and there's enough issues and problems being just a reseller every day that you have to go through, that you don't want it when you're in your relaxing, fun, free time where you just want to, share a story about.
I'll be over on my phone on the couch, and somebody be like, "Are you crying right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm reading through all and trying to approve all these comments on Trash to Cash Facebook group, and I have to read them all before I can approve them or not, and they're just so depressing and sad." That's
kind of like how you are after we record each week.
Yeah, for sure. It's unconsolable. Is that right? Was the rabbit hole right? Don't go down that rabbit hole.
I'm
unconsolable.
Unconsolable. Yes, that was a good. That was a good word. That was good.
That was my word of the day, Chris Cajun.
Yes,
inconsolable.
I have a word, Jimmy. How are your prognostication skills?
Who's the guy that Johnny Carson used to play?
Oh yeah, he was
that character when I was a kid.
The Great Karnak.
Yeah, I'm
Great
Karnak.
Where he would answer the question or he'd give the answer and then
read a good answer when I said I'm no Karnak. But
that's a good reference. I was going with the prognostication because this weekend we have the Super Bowl coming up.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's why we're recording on a Friday and not on our Sunday evening, because the Super Bowl. I mean, you got to watch the Super Bowl and be able to. So I thought maybe we would make a couple predictions.
Yep.
Use your prognostication skills.
Hold on. Let me
Make
get
a
an
couple.
envelope.
And then Monday, when this comes out, people will know, like, people will go, oh, man, that Jimmy, he knows.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
He knows his stuff, you know. And so I have no way to prove that today is Friday the
13th?
Friday
10th.
the 10th, other than just, you know, I'm an upfront and honest guy. Jimmy.
Here we go. Hold on. I got a calendar right here.
Okay, you can show the calendar right
See
here
right
on
there?
the screen. Yes. No.
Calendar says the 10th.
Oh, yes, I see it. Okay.
All right,
It
there
is
we
the 10th. So we're gonna make a couple of Super Bowl predictions. Oh, what wasn't one of the comments?
Oh, what's the comment of the week?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
definitely waiting until the very end of the show for comment of the week.
Oh, I knew that. Well, no, somebody had commented, I think, in my listing show, the Ken versus 10 Thursdays at 11 a.m.
Oh, here we go.
Was that they predicted 100% heartburn after, because, you know, the game,
cool.
if your team's not in it, it's all about the food.
Most of the
It's
people
all
that
about,
watched your show don't care about football. That's what I saw.
well, it kind of seems that way.
Most
you know,
of them are there for the food and halftime.
And my mother just roots for the team with the ball. She just she hoops and all. She'll
roots for the offense.
Clapping and yelling, and we're like, that's the other team, Mom. You know, we don't want the Steelers to score.
Yeah,
we need the Browns to score. You know,
Sonya's done very similar things, and I'm like, why are you rooting for the Chiefs? What's happening? We need them to lose to get in the playoffs. Why are you rooting for them?
Well, it was a good play. I try to teach my mother, like, sports stuff, like when we're over there watching the game, like, you know, her favorite play is the pick six, because every time that happens, I go, oh, what was that, Mom? She, oh, I don't know. Or like, what, maybe you got the scoop and score. All right.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask her, it's like, that'll happen in a game. I'll go, oh, what was that, Mom? She's like, it was the pick up the ball and run with it. No, that's not. It's called a scoop and score. That would make
a great TikTok of you asking her football questions and her answers. There's TikToks where they do that, where people that don't know sports, they'll put like a team logo and they have to guess the team.
Yes.
And then when it's really good because they'll guess the team and it's totally wrong. And then they'll put the name that they guess, and they'll do like the football sound, and it'll be like, and it'll be like the Red Canaries, you know.
Yeah, they go by the logo. I seen one of those the other day. A guy was doing all the hockey teams.
But let me make my prediction. Am I allowed to make more than just who I think is going to win?
Kansas City Chiefs. Well, yeah, we're gonna do who you think's going to win and a final score.
All right.
So
can I do like
Kansas City Chiefs,
explanation?
Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, go. You're on the clock.
Well, so I have to decide between two predictions.
Okay.
The only two things I see happening are the Chiefs blowing them out.
Okay.
Or the Chiefs winning last second because they have Mahomes. Because now, do I want the Chiefs to win? Not necessarily. I really don't care either way. Both these teams have recent Super Bowl victories. I wanted some new blood. They've both won the Super Bowl recently. The Chiefs more recently though. But I'll do the Elway factor. You know about that. I just cannot. I cannot go against Mahomes.
Okay.
I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be the greatest of all time. I really do believe that. I do.
You heard it here. February the 10th of 2023.
As long as he's healthy and he keeps playing the way he's playing, I think he will be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Okay.
I'm going to get ripped for that probably too. But I mean, we've watched a lot of greats in our lives.
Yes.
As far as what I've seen, what he's doing on the field, I've never seen before. Anyway.
No. Yeah. He's changed the position for sure.
I can't go against him.
Okay. So you're going Chiefs as your team. And what's your final score?
I want to say the blowout, but I won't. Everybody thinks the
Okay.
Eagles have a better team. Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. I'll say the Chiefs by 4. Do I have to give a score?
Yes.
34-30 on a
34-30.
last-minute touchdown by the Chiefs.
Okay.
That's my
Okay. I'm on the other side of the fence now. Again, I don't have a horse in the race. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to have a horse in the race. Being a Cleveland Browns fan,
This is true.
you know, I just enjoy watching the
You
game.
might have a quarterback in the massage parlor.
Yeah.
Have a horse in the race.
So I am going the opposite side. I think the Eagles are going to win. If Kansas City wins this game, I'm just as happy. I like Patrick Mahomes. I like, Travis Kelce. I like Coach Andy Reid. I like all of the, the whole team. So I have no problem. But I think with my vast football knowledge that the Eagles are going to win. I think the Super Bowl is always disappointing in the score. You think about it's going to be blowouts, it's going to be big scores. I am also predicting a 4-point spread, but I'm going 24-20 Eagles. 24-20. But here's my prediction. We'll see if this comes true. I think that Kansas City decides late in the game to kick the field goal to get to 20 so that they can do an onside kick, get the ball back, and try to have Patrick Mahomes work his magic.
Odd
And that's not going to happen. Philadelphia is going to recover the ball and they're going to win. You know what? I was thinking, 21-24. And then they're going to they score. They're going to kick. I'm going to change that. They're going to try to kick do an onside kick so that they can recover the ball, get a field goal, tie it up, go to overtime. So
do me this favor.
Yes.
After the show, go see how many times the Chiefs scored 20 points or less this year, and then tell me if you still feel comfortable with them only scoring 20 in the Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl, and it always seems to be this.
We'll talk about that after.
Yeah. We don't need to do that right now, but that's our prediction. That's our prognostication of the outcome. And again, we have the Super Bowl food. That's all I'm looking forward to. Chicken wings, deep fried. We usually have deep fried cauliflower and cheese sticks.
What is your mom making for the Super Bowl?
My mom is probably making a dessert of some sort. I don't know. It's usually a surprise. My dad will do the chicken wings. I usually bring over a sausage cheese dip with chips and those little little
this is all amazing because I'm on a
barbecue sauce.
So this all sounds so good. I'm flying to Ohio for the Super Bowl tonight.
Do it, man. And my sister will bring over. She usually makes those little beef roll-ups with the pickle. Hey, pickle packer, maybe you had something to do with that back in the day. She brings the just everybody brings something, and it's just you just gorge yourself.
But sounds amazing.
So that's Super Bowl. I did have a comment of the week, and which would probably be a little more discussion time, but I want to throw it out there just because I thought it was good.
Let's throw it out there, and then we'll talk about it at the beginning of the show next week.
That's good.
All right,
good. The comment came from Jack's Treasures.
Yep.
Jack's been following the show here recently, and this went back to the conversation we had with Troy about the updates, the winter update, and whether buyers should have to pay for have immediate payment.
Yep.
And so Jack had said that, and this is an interesting take, that many years ago he did almost 100% of his sourcing from eBay. He bought on eBay to sell on eBay, and he did most of it all by auctions, which we had touched on that auction stuff. And it was always easier for him to go in every 3 days and pay for all of the auctions that he had bought. But now that he is someone who pretty much only sells on eBay, he's not sourcing through there. he loves the idea of immediate payments.
Yep.
But he made the point that he does see how that they could have that potential to run off buyers, and of course eBay doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that might be a good topic.
Write that down, because
us.
I definitely want to talk about how he said I was right when we talk about that. So make sure we start the show off about Jimmy was right.
Jimmy was right. I will put that in. Okay. So at what about 10:15 next week for our 9:30 meeting?
Yeah,
At
10:15
10:15 when Jimmy shows
Your
up.
time, not my time. It's still early my time.
We'll put that in the show notes. Jimmy, what else you got for today? We're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah,
I think
I gotta actually get going because my wife just got back. My dogs just got their vaccination shots, so they're not gonna be happy dogs.
Well, I will wish you a happy anniversary, full-time reseller anniversary.
Yeah,
today.
May the force be with you. I don't know what that means, but you too.
Yeah, it sounded good. It sounded like, I don't know what it sounded like. We'll see you next time on the Reseller Clickbait Podcast.